Welcome into College Corner, another great slate of college basketball today. Conference tournaments on Friday. I'm going to be covering my 3 favorite picks on the slate today. If you guys have been tailing the last couple days, we've been crushing it. Depending on what you're doing with that play on Charlotte, whether you took the points or whether you took them on the money line. I took them on the money line. We're 5-1 the last 2 days, 3-0 on Wednesday, 2-1 or 2-0-1, depending on what you picked yesterday. We're going to keep crushing it here with 3 more plays. If you guys have enjoyed the picks, if you enjoyed the plays, enjoyed the content and information, be sure to subscribe, like the video as well. I know a lot of you coming from Twitter as well. Be sure you're liking, be sure you're subscribing. And if you're not coming from Twitter, if you're just watching here, only knowing me from YouTube, be sure to follow me on Twitter. My handle, Tyler McKillop, would have just come up on the screen for you. Last thing before we get to the plays, though, is sports betting live in Massachusetts today. So if you're in Boston, or if you're a Masshole, you're anywhere in the state, sign up, get betting on these legal sports books. BetMGM, a up to $1,000 first bet for new users that sign up. So if you're in that state or in another, I'll include the link down in the description, pin it in the comment section if you do want to sign up. If you appreciate the info, if you appreciated the money we've helped make you the last couple of days, go sign up at BetMGM. It's a huge help for us. But let's get to the first play. Ohio State, big W on Wednesday for us. Made me a ton of money. I love that play. It was one of my favorite plays of the season. But matchup with Michigan State here. They managed to win both of their games yesterday as well. They got Michigan State, and I like the Spartans -3.5 in this matchup with Ohio State. They won both of the games during the regular season, and I've found over the course of the early parts of this tournament is a lot of the teams, people talk about, it's tough to beat a team 3 times in the year. I don't think it is. I think you beat them twice. That just tells me that you are better than that team. And that's what this team has done. We saw it from Clemson the other night. We've seen it from, there's one other team I'm thinking of off the top of my head that did it. But I found that these teams have gotten the better of the other throughout the season. They're going to do it again here because it's just a poor matchup. But in this game, Ohio State has benefited from some very poor shooting in those first 2 games from their opponents. Both Wisconsin and Iowa were not very efficient. Wisconsin, a team I don't have any faith in, but Iowa offensively usually has a pulse. And they've really struggled as well to defend, Iowa especially. And now they're getting a matchup with Michigan State, who's definitely more physical defensively and a much tougher matchup. But what I want to start with, they get an offense here for Michigan State that is not as reliant on scoring from the perimeter. We really touched on that with Wisconsin. Michigan State wants to score from inside, and I think this is where Ohio State will feel that loss of Zed Key. They don't take many threes, but when they do, they have been lethal. They're shooting over 40% from 3 right now. This season, 40.1%. A.J. Hoggard has been great for them on all levels of the floor. Ohio State, though, in these last 2 games is shooting 42% from 3 offensively. That is not up to that's well above their standard for the season. Michigan State, though, an elite 3-point defense. Opponents shooting 30.9% from deep, so expect that to regress here. And then as well, Michigan State, a top 100 2-point defense. I like them to be able to defend the interior well, against Sensabaugh, against Sewing. I think this Ohio State team's going to struggle here, much like they did in that second half against Wisconsin, where they went like 12 minutes without scoring. But I'm going to take the veteran group here of A.J. Hoggard, Joey Hauser, to be able to get out of here covering this 3.5-point spread, especially with an Ohio State team that's onto their 3rd straight game in 3 days. You could definitely get some tired legs in 2 very, very competitive games against Wisconsin and Iowa. So give me Michigan State -3.5. As we move along here, we're going to UConn and Marquette. This game is around, I think, 6:30 p.m. on Friday. Man, we got a number 1 seed Marquette and a number 4 seed in UConn, and we're seeing UConn as a 3.5-point favorite, despite the fact they are not the number 1 seed in this conference. That is no problem, though. This is a nightmare matchup for Marquette. This is a team in UConn that attacks all of the areas that Marquette has struggled with, both on offense and defense, but most importantly, defensively. They have really struggled against the 3 Marquette. Their opponents are shooting almost 36%. They're 282nd in the country. And then as well, Marquette struggling on the glass, especially on the defensive side. 315th in defensive rebounding, 237th in offensive rebounding. Guess who they match up with? A UConn team that's taken 42% of their shots from 3, which is the top 60 rate in the country, and benefits from having Adama Sanogo and leading a very, very good rebounding team that has tons of length all over their starting 5. If you look at their rebounding, number 1 in the country in offensive rebounding, 77th in the country in defensive rebounding. Second chance opportunities for them, no second chance opportunities for Marquette, and then they kill them from behind the arc. Like I mentioned, 42% of their shots. Alex Karaban shooting 40% from 3. Jordan Hawkins, 37.7% from 3. I cannot think of a worse matchup, honestly, for this Marquette team than UConn in this conference. Marquette as well does want to shoot from 3, 74th in the country in three-point rate this season, but UConn opponents shooting below 30%, 29.5% this season. Overall, UConn is a fantastic defense, 10th in opponent effective field goal percentage this season. The only problem I can see this UConn team running into, kind of like they did here against Providence yesterday, is a little bit of turnover issues. 237th in the country in turnover rate. But otherwise here, we got a Marquette team that I think against UConn, this is a major problem matchup-wise with both teams at full strength. Marquette coming off the narrow win over St. John's to get here, and I just think UConn is playing really well at the right time. I think this is a team that wins this matchup, gets to the Big East final without issue here. I love them -3.5. Last one, we're heading to the ACC in the semifinal between Duke and Miami. I like Duke. I'm taking them to cover as a 3-point favorite here. These two teams split their matchups during the regular season, but I think in a rematch, I think what I really like to look at between these two teams, I think Duke's length will be a major factor, both defensively and offensively. Miami is a team that wants to score inside. They're efficient on both ends, both from deep and on the interior, but they do want to score more from 2 by quite a significant margin. So we've got 2 great rim defenders in Kyle Filipowski and Mark Mitchell. These are 2 sizable guys. Filipowski 7 foot, Mitchell 6'8". So very good in terms of being able to pose problems around the rim. They're 21st in opponent effective field goal percentage this season. Teams have not been efficient going against them. And again, between these 2 guys are good blocking around the rim as well. But that length, I think, is going to translate well offensively as well, because Miami has struggled defending on the interior. They're 251st in the country in 2-point defense. Jordan Miller, Norchard Omeyer, they're 2 6'7" forwards, and I don't think they match up well with the length that this team that I mentioned from Duke has. So I think that's going to be a problem. And then the other thing here, kind of cherry on top for me, is Miami on the rebounding side. Defensive rebounding especially, 204th in the country in defensive rebounding. So they're going to give up some second chance points because Duke is 7th in the country in offensive rebounding. So I think as great as this Miami team has been, don't get me wrong, extremely efficient offensively. I mentioned Miller and Omeyer, but it's also Isaiah Wong has been great for them as well. So Nigel Pack as well. This is a great team, but I think the matchup here in terms of the length that Duke can provide on both ends of the floor, because Filipowski's their go-to guy offensively and has been great for them defensively. I think it poses some problems here. I think there's a reason why Duke, again, is the 4 seed in this game, is the favorite, is because of those little issues here that I'm finding. Some second chance points, some length to defend, and Miami struggles defending on the interior. So I'm taking Duke to cover -3. Recapping all the plays, we're on some favorites here. I didn't expect me to just solely be on favorites of a couple of points, but Michigan State -3.5, UConn -3.5, and then the last one with Duke -3. Again, if you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to let me know. Drop a like, subscribe to the channel. Selection Sunday is only a couple of days away. I'm so damn excited to see this bracket. We're going to be breaking it all down on Sunday night. I'll have the bracket video live for you guys on Sunday night. We're working hard. We sleep in May. We're taking that literally. Right now, it is midnight when I'm dropping this video after these games are recapped. We're sleeping in May. There's no one else you should be tailing right now than the guy that is up at midnight recording, editing, and posting this content in college hoops for you. Guys, have a great Friday. Let's win some picks. And as always, we'll see you on the next one.